Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim survived a confidence vote tabled in the Dewan Rakyat today, sealing his legitimacy as the nation's 10th Prime Minister. The motion to affirm Anwar's leadership and appointment was passed via a voice vote, and so the exact number of votes he secured could not be confirmed. Prior to the vote, members of Parliament debated on the motion for more than 3 hours. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Fadilah Yusof, who tabled the motion, said the results of the vote would prompt the unity government to be determined to continue its commitment to provide the best service to the people. With the outlook for the global economy next year indicating a recession, he said it is important that the current government has the support of the MPs. This, he said, will further strengthen the confidence of investors, the business community and the people. Anwar's administration comprises PH, BN, GPS, GRS and Parti Warisan, which inked an agreement in Putrajaya last Friday to seal their cooperation. Under the pact, any federal lawmaker who fails to support the Prime Minister in motions tabled in Parliament will be deemed to have resigned as an MP. Malaysia's trade in November rose 15.6% from the previous year to 238.17 billion ringgit, booking the 22nd successive month of year-on-year double-digit growth. According to data from Martrade, exports also jumped by 15.6% year-on-year to 130.24 billion ringgit in November. That's its 16th straight month of double-digit growth. Imports grew 15.6% from a year earlier to 107.93 billion ringgit, while the trade surplus jumped by 15.6% to 22.3 billion ringgit. Martrade attributed the export expansion to strong sales of electrical and electronics products, liquefied natural gas, petroleum products as well as crude petroleum. Meanwhile, exports to major trading partners, notably ASEAN, the US, the EU and Japan, recorded double-digit growth. Compared to October, trade surplus rose by 23.5%, while trade contracted by 2.8%, exports fell 1% and imports saw a tumble of 4.9%. For January through November, trade expanded by 29.9% to 2.613 trillion ringgit compared to the same period last year. Exports increased by 27.2% to 1.42 trillion ringgit. Imports rose by 33.3% to 1.193 trillion ringgit, and trade surplus edged up by 2.6% to 227.89 billion ringgit. Trading in the shares of Serba Dinamik Holdings will be suspended from December 23rd until further notice if the loss-making oil and gas services company fails to issue its 2022 annual report by December 22nd. On November 1st, Bursa Malaysia Securities granted the company an extension of time from October 31st until December 15th, 2022 to issue its annual report that includes audited financial statements and the auditors and directors' reports. However, it failed to do so within the extended time frame. This is not the first time the financially troubled company has faced a suspension of trading in its securities. Last October, Bursa suspended trading in Serba Dinamik's shares for its failure to disclose the findings of EY Consulting's special independent review. The review came about after the company's external auditor, KPMG, flagged in May what it alleged were more than 4.54 billion ringgit in questionable transactions. Serba Dinamik has been in the red since the first quarter of FY22. For its first quarter FY23 results, it registered a wider net loss of 104.6 million ringgit against 42.11 million ringgit in the same period last year, as quarterly revenue tumbled 73% to 213.58 million ringgit. Serba Dinamik's shares slumped 25% to 1.5 sen for a market capitalization of 55.9 million ringgit. The Court of Appeal has fixed June 22nd and 23rd next year for the hearing of Datuk Seri Rosmah Mansour's appeal to set aside her solar hybrid graft conviction and sentence. The appellate court will also hear on those two dates her appeal over her failure to recuse High Court Judge Muhammad Zaini Mazlan from presiding over her case. It is understood that Rosmah's lawyers will also write in to fix July 12th to 14th as further additional hearing dates. These additional dates are subject to approval by the Court of Appeal, which has fixed February 3rd next year as case management on whether to grant the extra dates. The matter was confirmed by Deputy Public Prosecutor Paul Yin Tin, who attended the case management. On September 1st, Rosmah was found guilty on all 3 counts of graft in relation to the solar hybrid project involving 364 rural schools in Sarawak. She was sentenced to 10 years jail and a fine of 970 million ringgit. Samaden Group says its unit Samaden has signed a partnership agreement to explore clean energy-related business opportunities in Cambodia. The Clean Energy Solutions Specialist said it struck the deal with Management's Venture Asia Cambodia, or MVA. It said in a filing with the bourse that MVA has successfully completed the development of a 20-megawatt ground-mounted solar pro, in which the project was awarded a power purchase agreement by Cambodia's state-run energy supplier EDC in August 2019. Samaden Group Managing Director Chow Pui Hee said it is looking forward to collaborating with MVA, given their strong presence in Cambodia and that expanding in Southeast Asia is part of the group's 5-year plan. Samaden is a clean energy solution specialist, principally involved in engineering, procurement, construction and commissioning of solar photovoltaic systems and power. MVA is a Phnom Penh-based business consultancy and clean energy projects developer that is primarily engaged in facilitating business ventures and taking products to market, as well as conducting market research. Samaden's shares closed 1.94% higher at 79 cents, giving it a market capitalization of 304.15 million ringgit.